Okay, so started in a supported bridge today. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can grab a block, stack of books, a firm cushion from the couch. You could roll up your mat. So just a little something. Doesn't have to be very big, but something kind of sturdy to slide underneath your sacrum. And we're going to come onto our backs here. And when you get here, just give the knees a little squeeze into your chest. Might have to hold the thighs starting out if the hip flexors are feeling tight. Oh, maybe rock a little bit from side to side. You can make some little circles with the knees in that hip socket. All right, and then just place your feet down on the mat. So knees over your ankles, edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. And then you're gonna grab whatever support you're using. You're gonna press into your feet. I suggest if you're using a block, either the lowest or the medium height. So not going for the highest here since we're not warm. And then you want to make sure that that block is on your sacrum. So that's the triangle at the bottom of your tailbone. What tends to happen, it might be hard to see here with these colors. So as you can see right now, I've got that block. It's in my lumbar, my lower back. So my buns are hanging off the block here. It puts a lot of pressure in the lumbar spine. It feels really uncomfortable. So I'm going to slide it down closer to my heels. And you'll kind of know when you hit that spot because you'll feel really steady and stable. There shouldn't be a lot of effort there. And then from here, just find a place that feels good with your arms. So for a lot of us, that's just by our sides, palms facing up. You might want to take cactus arms. Sometimes that helps to stretch out the chest area, gets into the shoulders a little bit. And then take a nice deep inhale here. You're just gazing up the ceiling, or perhaps your eyes are closed. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Couple more times like that. Inhaling, filling up, feeling that expansion of your rib cage as you inhale. And then open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Couple more times just at your pace. And then as you feel ready, you start to find your Ujjayi breath. So inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose, creating that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. Just listening to that sound of your breath, bringing your attention there. So let all of the sounds happening in the room you're in just drift into the background. Try to let the thoughts that might be coming into the brain, let them drift into the background. Observe if there's any tension in your body here. Are you squeezing the shoulders a little tighter than you need to? Is there any tension in your neck? Are you gripping the toes, gripping the fingers? Is there tension in the face, jaw? So just nice and easy here, feeling really, really relaxed. And we're going to be here another minute or two. Just breathing quietly. On your next inhale, just go ahead and release your arms by your side if they're not there already. Stretch your arms up overhead. And then you're going to interlace your fingers, press the palms to face behind you. Feel the inner arm start to wrap towards the outer arm. The outer arm is spiraling down towards the floor. You might get a little more widening across the backs of your shoulders. Still just gazing up at the ceiling here. Your eyes might still be closed. As you inhale, see how long you can get through the sides of your waist as you press back through your palms. Couple more breaths. And then as you exhale, just release your arms by your side, press into your feet, lift your hips up off the block, slowly lower your hips down to the mat. Good. And then just walk your feet as wide as your mat. Take your arms out in a T shape. We're just going to release out the spine a little bit after that back bending. So knees are going to fall off to the right. Inhale up to center, and then exhale, they're going to fall off to the left. Just continue like that. Let's do about 3 or 4 complete cycles. You're moving with your breath, kind of just taking it nice and easy. It doesn't have to be super deep. The next time you're back to that right side, just stay there. So again, the feet are as wide as your mat here, so they're a little wider. If you're feeling a good stretch in the lower back lumbar area, you can stay here like this. If you'd like to intensify things a little bit, you can take your right ankle above your left knee, and then maybe you start to roll onto your left cheek, gazing out over your left fingertips. Of course, with any of the variations that are offered, if they don't work for you, if going up to the next level just feels too intense, you skip it. You come back to where you were. But it's always okay. Feel those shoulder blades heavy in the mat underneath you. And then just place that right ankle back on the mat. So feet are still nice and wide here. Knees fall off to the left. This side might feel a lot different. So just notice what's going on. If you do want to go a little deeper, left ankle above right knee, gazing out over your right fingertips, if that feels okay in your neck. Just several rounds of nice, steady breath here. Good. Go ahead and uncross that left ankle. If you took that variation, inhale, knees come up to center. Give them a little squeeze again. And again, you might want to just rock a little bit from side to side. We're going to roll forward and back on our spine, assuming that that feels okay for you. If it doesn't, you just roll off to one side or the other. And then after a few rocks here, just make your way up, coming to your tabletop position. And we'll move into some cat-cow here. So starting to warm up the spine a little more. So land with your shoulders over your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. Feel your lower belly pull in and up a little bit. So there's already a little bit of core support. As you inhale, you're arching into your lumbar. So chest comes forward through the gates of your shoulders. As you exhale, press the mat away, firm down into your shins. Let the chin come to chest, neck releases. And then continuing like that. Just finding a pace that feels good to you. So inhaling, arching, exhaling, rounding in. Nice work, Laura. And you're just paying attention to how the spine is feeling here. Noticing where there's a sense of ease, noticing where there's a little congestion, and not necessarily trying to change anything, but just observing here starting out. And then just moving with that rhythm of your breath. If it feels good here, you could even do some little hip circles. You can kind of combine that with your cat-cow, whatever feels good. And just switch directions eventually. Good. And then let's come back to neutral spine. We're neither arching nor rounding. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right leg, left arm. Keep those outer hips squeezing in. Right toes are pointing down. Exhale, release. Inhale, left leg, right arm reach. So this nice diagonal stretch, little bird dog. Exhale, release down. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Shoulder blades plug in towards each other. Exhale, release. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Good work. Exhale, release. And then let's inhale, lift the right leg and left arm. See how long you can get. Keep breathing here. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And your choice, you stay here like this. If you would like to bend your right knee, so it's like you're gonna stamp that foot onto the ceiling, reach back with your left hand, see if you can find the foot. Find a little twist here. So left shoulder head presses back. You're wrapping those right ribs to the left. Maybe see if you can lift that right leg a little more. One more deep inhale. Good, full exhale. And then inhale, stretch back out. Exhale, release down. Inhale, left leg, right arm, outer hip squeeze in even as your belly is pulling in. So lots of support here. Breath smooth and steady. This might be a great place to stay if you want to bend your left knee. Reach back, see if you can find that foot. And then if you've got it, kick it. Spin your left ribs to the right. Maybe bring your gaze out over your right shoulder. Are you breathing? Good. On your next inhale, lengthen back out. Exhale, release down. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches here. Curl your toes under. Keep a bend in your knees as you start to pull your sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then let's just pedal back and forth here. Kind of get the weekend out of the bones. Just noticing how everything is feeling. And then you're going to eventually find a place of stillness. And you might have to make little adjustments here. So you're gazing between your feet. You're making sure they're about hips distance apart with your second and third toe pointing forward. You might peek between your hands. Just make sure that they're about shoulders distance apart and your fingers are spreading. And then release your neck back down again. From here, let's inhale, lift our right leg. So keeping the hips nice and even. And then as you exhale, we're going to just step that foot through between our hands. Land on your left knee. Make sure that you're not on a tightrope. And then just hang out here for a few breaths. Fingertips on the floor, or you could even have hands on blocks if you're feeling a little tighter. You're letting this left hip release down. So feeling that stretch in the hip flexor. Good. Curl those right toes. Left toes under. So from that back leg, just pull back, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Sit bones are really reaching up towards the ceiling, forearms firm in towards each other. And then we inhale, lift our left leg, keeping the hips even. Exhale, step that left foot through, land on your right knee. So again, make any adjustments that you need to. You're not on a tightrope. Left knee is over left ankle. And then you're melting that right hip down towards the floor. So big stretch in the front of the leg, the hip flexor, quadricep. How is this side different than the other side? Good. Curl your right toes under, pull back, downward facing dog. And then nice and easy, just start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. So you're at the back of your mat. This first Uttanasana of the day, hamstrings can be really tight, back can be tight. So you might want a deep, deep bend in your knees. You can grab opposite elbows here and then just start to sway a little bit from side to side. And then change the cross of your arms, opposite elbow in front. Nod your head, yes. Nod your head, no. And then just release your fingertips down to the mat. Slowly as you inhale, start to roll on up to standing. Nice work. When you get there, roll your shoulders back a few times. And then roll them forward. Good, roll them back again. And then just releasing your arms by your side. So finding our mountain pose, Tadasana. Your feet might be together if you feel steady there. They might be hips distance apart. And you're just standing at the back of your mat. And we start to move into our half sun salutes. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold back in, inner thighs spiral back as sit bones stretch up towards the ceiling. Root into your feet on your inhale. Stretch arms out and up. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. We have 3 more just moving with your breath. So you can follow along with me or close your eyes and flow here. Mostly let these feel really good. Make any little modifications that you need, a little bend in the knees. You can use blocks on the floor for your hands. Good, and when you're done with your 3rd round, just pausing with your eyes closed, or you can just gaze down at your fingertips. Just taking stock of how you feel. So just a little bit of movement goes a long way. So just noticing that, and then let's blink our eyes open. So before we start to flow a little more, let's come into a preliminary hip opener. So we're gonna come into our triangle pose. So block can be really nice here. We're gonna step wide on our mat. So edges of the feet are parallel with the edges of the top and back of your mat. Block can go behind your right ankle. All right, so before we even transition into the poses, you're standing here, feel everything squeeze into the midline. So you're firing up the legs, you're engaging the muscles above the knees. Hold on to that as you start to externally rotate that right leg. So those right toes turn out to 90 degrees. And then you're gonna spin your left toes in quite a bit. So this hip is releasing down. We're not squaring the hips here. You are bringing your torso to face towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, let's hinge at that left hip crease. Extend through the right side. Inhale up. Let's just do that a few times. So just finding that action in the hips and the legs. Exhale. That inner right thigh pulls back. Inhale up. Good. Exhale. Inhale up. And this time we're going to go for it all the way. So exhale, keep reaching, reaching, reaching. And if you don't have a block, hand on thigh or shin, just don't put the hand on the knee. And be gentle if you're putting the hand on the body. Otherwise, hand on block is really nice. And you can change the height. And then just allow your shoulder blades to stack on top of each other. Sometimes here we lean this top arm way back, so you don't have to overdo it. Just find that nice symmetry. Press into the back edge of your left foot a little more as you're pressing into the inner edge of your right foot at the same time. You can be gazing down, forward, maybe up if that feels okay in your neck. Notice if your head is dropping. Notice if you're gripping it and holding it. So your cervical spine is just an extension here of the rest of your spine. And then let's get this into the shoulder a little bit. So start to lean that left arm back. And then externally rotate. Bend the elbow. So you're going to grab a piece of shirt behind you. A few of us might be able to bring our left fingertips to the inside of our right thigh. All good options. Shoulder heads press back here. Good. Inhale, stretch that arm up. Take an exhale. Maybe look down at your right toes. And then as you inhale, come on up. Good. Parallel your feet. And then we're going to switch to the other side. Welcome, Susie and Joey. So you can move your block behind your left ankle. So again, before we even adjust our legs for our triangle pose, let's find our nice stance here. So outer edges of the feet are squeezing in. Tailbone is releasing down. So you're feeling all of that support in your lower body. Spin this left leg out to 90 degrees. Right toes turn in. Square your torso to the long edge of your mat. Good. Inhale, arms reach up. The body is doing so many different things in this pose. As you exhale, it's like your little teapot hinging forward at that left hip crease. Inhale, press to the inner edge of your left foot to come up. Exhale. Good. Inhale, up. 2 more. Exhaling. Inhale. And this time we go for it. So exhale, keep lengthening through this left side. Good. And when you can't go any further, hand on thigh or shin or block. And so just to line up the block so that your shoulder is underneath your wrists and the shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Inhale, lengthen through that left side of your waist. Exhale, press to the inner edge of your left foot. Wrap those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Firm a little more into the back edge of your right foot. Breath smooth and steady, maybe closing your eyes here. Maybe gazing up. But again, just notice if you're doing more in your neck than you need to. And then getting into this right shoulder a little bit. So just spin your palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow. So you can just press the back of your hand into your spine. Maybe you can reach around, grab a piece of shirt, or get your right fingertips to the inside of your left thigh. You're just looking for leverage to press that right shoulder head back. Couple more breaths. Good. We're going to inhale, stretch that right arm up. As you exhale, look down at your left toes. And inhale, press into your feet, rise up, parallel your feet, release your arms down, and then just step your legs together, finding your Tadasana, your mountain pose. And we're going to start to flow a little bit. So you can move your block back to the top of your mat. We're going to step to the top of our mat here and just start to build a little heat. All right. So as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, right foot back, then left foot. So we're in our plank pose. We're going to take 3 breaths here. If you need to lower to your knees, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, hips in line with your shoulders, back of the neck nice and long. So you're just gazing an inch or 2 in front of your fingertips. Firm the hamstring, the calf up towards the ceiling. Good. One more deep inhale. Exhale, knees come down. As go ahead and start to bend your elbows. Pause it halfway. So a little modified chaturanga. Take an inhale. Nice work. Exhale, land in one piece on your belly. Tops of the feet press, lengthening back. A few times moving into our Bhujangasana with the breath. So inhale, chest extends forward and up. Doesn't have to be a deep back bend. Exhale, lower. Inhaling up. Good. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling up, just holding here. Maybe lift your hands up off the mat. An inch or 2. Keep those elbows squeezing in. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Good work. From here, we press to our tabletop. Curl our toes under. Downward facing dog. So this should be starting to feel a little easier. It might not be your best downward dog yet, but we're moving in that direction. Even so, you can always still have a bend in your knees. Allow your breath to slow down in your downward facing dog. Good. From here, we're going to inhale. Find a bend in your knees. Come to your tippy toes. Look forward. End of your exhale, you're going to step right then left. You're going to walk forward. You're going to hop both feet through, however you want to get there. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, let's do a couple more of those. Inhaling, arms reach. Got to warm up on this cold November day. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms, left foot back, then right foot. So take an inhale in your plank pose. Exhale, you come to your knees or you do a full chaturanga, pause at halfway, and then onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. If you're ready for an up dog, drag your hands back, wrists under elbows. Press into the tops of your feet. Press into your arms. Nice work. From here, we pull back. Downward facing dog. We take a few breaths here. Everything slows down in down dog. And then again, let's inhale, lift our right leg up. As you exhale, step that foot through. Land on your left knee. This time we inhale, one breath. Rise up, crescent pose. Feel the outer hip squeeze in, and then we're going to bring our right fingertips to our left wrist. With those hips squeezing in, we side bend to the right. So you're going to feel a little bit of that triangle pose feeling through that left side, that nice lateral stretching. Good. Inhale up to center. Maybe gaze up, press palms. As you exhale, hands flat. Curl your left toes under. So this time, keep your hips nice and low. Step to your plank pose. Good. As you exhale, you shift forward, maybe come to your knees. Your version of your chaturanga vinyasa. If you want to move into your up dog from that chaturanga, you're welcome to do so. We meet back in our downward facing dog. From here, we inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Land on your right knee. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Rise up. Low crescent pose. Outer hips are squeezing in. Good. Left fingertips to right wrist. Side bend to the left. Good. Maybe gazing up underneath that right arm. Can you pull your lower belly in a little more? From here, we inhale up to center, maybe gaze up, press palms. As you exhale, palms flat. And then again, curl your right toes under, firm that thigh up. Keep your gaze forward, hips low. Step to your plank pose. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you do your version of chaturanga vinyasa. Maybe you skip the chaturanga vinyasa and simply pull back to your downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. As you inhale, little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, either hop forward, step left then right, walk forward, run forward, however you want to get there. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. As we inhale, arms reach up. I'm going to do a little side bending again. So exhale, right fingertips, left wrist, side bend to the right. Inhale up to center. Left fingertips, right wrist, exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale up to center. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Bend knees, plant palms, right foot back, then left. See if you can stretch out this exhale as you lower through your chaturanga vinyasa. Again, you can always be using your knees here. You can skip them. Pull back, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Keep the left toes curled under this time. Heel toe that right foot to the right so you're not on a tightrope. Inhale, rise up. Full crescent pose. Little bend in that back knee can be really nice. It's going to help you to direct your tailbone down further. If you're tighter in the hip flexors, it's going to allow you to access a little more space and room. Otherwise, if it feels okay, you can start to straighten that left leg. Try to keep that deep bend in your right knee though. Good. And then maybe a gaze up, press palms. Let's take this into a twist here. So as you exhale, you're going to root down into your left palm. You might need to lower your back knee down. Your hand might need to be on a block. Keep pressing to the inner edge of this right foot. Start to spin open. So as you can tell, arms here, this looks very much like our triangle pose. The shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other. Notice if you're gripping your front toes, see if you can soften them, but do press more to the inner edge of that foot. Your left ribs are spinning up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're gazing up at that right thumb. From here, as we exhale, we unwind. Your choice. You step back to downward dog. You step to plank. Take your little chaturanga vinyasa, whatever that looks like in your body. You can mix and match. You can skip. From here, we inhale, lift our left leg up. Exhale, step that foot through. And again, just heel toe that left foot to the left. So you want to have your legs hips distance apart with a strong belly. Rise up, maybe starting with a little bend in that right knee. That's going to allow you to sink down in this left thigh a little more. Maybe you straighten that leg. Maybe you keep the bend in the knee. Few nice breaths here. Just pretend that somebody's pulling up on your wrist. So you're getting lots of length through the sides of your waist. Maybe you bring your gaze up. Maybe you press palms. And then we are going to come into that twist again. So exhale, start to fold forward. Root into your right palm, shoulder over wrist. Press to the inner edge of this left foot. Start to wrap your upper body to the left. You can modify as you need to in that back leg. Breath smooth and steady, gaze soft and gentle. Notice how things feel a little constricted on the inhale when we're in a deep twist. Good deep inhale here. Exhale, unwind. And again, your option to pull back to your downward facing dog, to your plank pose, moving deliberately through your chaturanga with the breath, taking your time. There's no rush, especially as we start to get a little tired. Good, and then we take a few breaths here back in our downward facing dog. Nice work. And then as you inhale, find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. End of your exhale, lightly spring forward, step right then left. Walk forward, run forward, just make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So let's come into another little standing hip opener, a little balance pose this time. So finding a nice Tadasana, start to root into your left foot. Good, come up to your right toes. Open up that hip. Good. And then you're either going to place the foot to the lower leg. Maybe you reach down, see if you can snuggle that foot a little higher into your left thigh. Just don't want the foot on the knee. Bring your palms together at your heart. And we're not trying to square the hips here. This right leg is going to be off to an angle. It's like a warrior two pose. But the standing leg is sturdy and strong. Maybe just a little micro bend in that left knee, especially if you are kind of hypermobile in your joints. And then let's inhale, stretch our arms up. So all the same feeling in our upper body that we had in our crescent pose. And then let's challenge this a little bit. Let's turn this into a fallen tree. So right fingertips, left wrist, pull up. And then as you exhale, side bend to the right. It might not be very deep. Even as you're side bending, can you start to spin your right ribs up towards the ceiling? You're going to notice all the little micro movements happening in that standing foot. Mine's working really hard to keep me upright. If you fall out, it's no big deal. Good. Inhale. Pull back to center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just release that right leg. Give the legs a little walk out. Kind of let the blood return. And then we take our second side. So rooting down into your left foot. So come up onto those left toes. Squeeze this right hip in. It wants to pop out. Don't let it. And then open up this left hip. You could just stay here like this. This counts. This is the pose. Maybe you lift that foot a little higher. A few of us might be able to use the hand to help snuggle the foot into the upper right thigh. So leg and foot are pressing into the midline. One side's always a little trickier. Are you breathing? It helps also to find something in front of you to gaze at, like a spot on the wall. This is one of those times where it's probably not best to look at me. All right. Stretch your arms up. And then feel all that containment in your core, leg and foot pressing against each other. And then bring your left fingertips to your right wrist, pull up, and then start to side bend to the left, feeling all of that lengthening through the right side. This is definitely going to up the ante in terms of balance. So you don't have to lean very far. And again, if you fall out of the pose, the world's not going to end. Worse things have happened. Sometimes it can be kind of fun. All right, we inhale, come back up to center. Ooh, good work. Give the legs a little walk out and let the blood come back here. All right, so have a block at the top of your mat. And we're gonna revisit our triangle pose again, and we're gonna move into our Ardha Chandrasana, so another little balancing pose. But we're gonna start at the top of our mat. We're gonna take a little flow to get there. So as you inhale, arms will reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. And your choice here. You can either step back to downward facing dog at this stage of the game. If you want to step to your plank pose, move with your breath through a chaturanga vinyasa. You can do that as well. Okay, so we're gonna inhale, lift our right leg up. Exhale, step that foot through. Let's rise up into our crescent pose. Good, and then we're gonna heel toe our right foot to the left. Spin into the back edge of that left foot. So this left hip is releasing in a lot. Release the arms down. So here we are in our Virabhadrasana 2. So your torso is facing towards the long edge of your mat. Good. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Arms reach up overhead. Good. Exhale, sink in. Good. Do that a couple more times. So inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, sinking back in. Thank you, Debbie. Then inhaling, reaching up. Good, and I want you to stay here. All right, so we're ready for our triangle pose. So as your next exhale, you've already got all that length through the right side. Reach, 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 reach. Hand to shin or to block here. And as I said, we're going to transition into our Ardha Chandrasana, so our half moon pose. So I'm going to give you a couple of variations to do this. So you might keep this top arm lifted up. A lot of us, if you're new or if you're watching this on YouTube, left hand is going to come to your left hip. If you want to challenge yourself, if you want to do that shoulder opener, you can find your wrap here. Okay, so whatever variation you're in, keep your chest spinning open this much. Just bring your gaze down to your right toes. Take a bend in that right knee. Walk your block forward about a foot. And then you're going to step your back foot in, lifting from the inseam of that leg. Start to lift up. And that right leg might not come all the way to straight. That's okay. Your left toes are pointing forward, so it's as though you're standing on that foot. If you're in your wrap or if your hand is on your hip and you want to extend that arm up, you're welcome to do so. And then one final variation here, if you'd like to play with your Chapasana, it's that same thing that we did in our tabletop, cat-cows. So bend that left knee, reach back, see if you can find the foot. And if you get it, maybe kick that foot into your hand. You might fall out, no big deal. Good work. Okay, so stretch back out into your Ardha Chandrasana, deep inhale. Exhale, bend that right leg a lot. We're gonna step back to our Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then as you exhale, you're gonna windmill your arms up and over. Your choice, chaturanga vinyasa, or simply step back to your downward facing dog. And we'll take that sequence to the second side. So once you're back in your downward facing dog, as you inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through between your hands. So crescent pose, inhale, rise up. And then we transition to our Virabhadrasana 2. So heel toe, your left foot to the right. Open up that right leg. Find your Virabhadrasana 2. And just a few times moving with the breath here. Inhale, press to the inner edge of that left foot. Arms will reach up overhead. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Good, inhale up. So this is our triangle pose legs here. Exhale in. Good, inhale up. And then keep that front leg straight this time. As you exhale, release your arms, shift your hips to the right. Find that lengthening to the left side of your body. Find your block. So we find our triangle pose our second time. How is it feeling different? Press to the inner edge of that left foot, firm into the back edge of your right foot. Lengthen through the left side of your waist. We hold on to all of that. And again, you have options here as you transition into your Ardha Chandrasana. You might keep this top arm up. Maybe you want to find that wrap. Maybe you want to keep it mellow today. So you're just going to bring your right hand to your right hip. Keep spinning chest open. Just bring your gaze down. Bend into your left knee. Walk your block forward. Step that right foot in. From the inseam of this leg, start to shift your balance into that left foot. And then lift up. And you don't need to overlift this top leg. You do want to pretend that you're standing on it though, so it is active. Maybe you extend that right arm up if you're in the wrap or you had your hand on your hip. Maybe you don't. And then finally, if you want to play with your Shavasana and Ardha Chandrasana, you can bend that right knee, see if you can find the foot, and then kick that foot a little bit. It's a little shoulder opener, nice stretch across the hip flexor, the quadricep. Good, go ahead and release. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bend your left knee a lot. Come back to your Virabhadrasana 2. Good work. Inhale, reverse. As you exhale, windmill your arms up and over. Final opportunity for a chaturanga vinyasa if you would like one. Otherwise, you step back to your downward facing dog. And then from here, we all take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. And then let's find a child's pose. So lowering to your knees, big toes together, knees apart. You can stretch your arms forward here. If it feels good to have them by your sides, you can take that variation. Melting in, just allowing everything to slow down here. Observing the heat that you've created inside of your body. Let's take a twist here in this child's pose. So if your arms are by your side, stretch them forward. And then just start to walk your arms off to the right. So you're laying your belly on that right thigh, spinning your left ribs towards the right thigh. Walk back to center and then off to the left. Good, coming back to center here. And then as you inhale, slowly start to roll on up. And we're going to come to our Dandasana, so seated staff pose. So you can just cross your legs in front of you and then extend them. You might want to have a strap here if you know that you're a little tighter. But first, we're just going to start in our Dandasana. So sitting nice and tall, your shoulders are landing over your hips. You're pressing down into your sit bones. Definitely a little bit of effort to sit nice and tall here. If this is really, really hard, you can sit up on a block or some blankets. It's just going to make it a little easier to keep your spine nice and long. Let's do like a seated tree pose here. So we're going to bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. So setting up for our Janu Shirshasana. Twist your torso to face towards that extended leg. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, keep this length through the sides of your waist as you start to hinge forward. So if you start rounding in a lot, maybe that means you've gone too far. We want to keep the spine nice and long here. So you can walk your hands forward any amount. This is where a strap can be really nice too. Looks good, Laura. If you're in pretty deep and you have a little more room, you might reach that left ankle past your right foot and then hold that left wrist with your right hand. That's nice. It just gives you that leverage to twist a little more as well. All good options. And then consciously slowing down your breath. It may have already done that kind of on its own already, but if it hasn't, move it in that direction. So maybe you're inhaling to a count of 7 or 8. And then exhaling to that same number. Send your exhale to the places in this pose where there's some intensity. For a lot of us, that is the hamstring. You might be feeling it in the groin a little bit, even in the spine. Good work. From here, as you inhale, slowly start to roll on up. Let's take this into a twist. So you're going to use your right hand to draw that right knee in. Good. And then just land with your knee over your ankle, maybe ankle slightly ahead, and then legs about hips distance apart. All right. So a couple of options here. You can hold on to your right shin with your left arm, right fingertips behind you. You might be able to get in a little deeper. So hooking that left elbow to the outside. Either place, you're getting some leverage and you're feeling these left ribs spin around. Check in with that extended left foot. It likes to get lazy. So make sure those toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Really try to fill up on the inhale. Find that length through the sides of your waist. Maybe you're bringing your gaze out over that right shoulder if it feels okay to do so in your neck. One more deep inhale here. And then as we exhale, we come back to center, unwind. Find that Dandasana. So a few breaths here, you're sitting nice and tall. It's a simple pose, but it's a really strong pose, really grounded and rooted pose. So keep that feeling of sit bones rooting down, even as you bring the sole of the left foot into the right thigh. But find that twist. Stretch arms up, or perhaps use your strap around the foot if arms are reaching as you exhale. Hinge forward, fold in. Maybe you're grabbing the outside of that right wrist as it reaches past your right foot. Little twist here. Such a great pose. It really gets into a lot of different places. We get a twist, we get a forward fold. Couple more breaths. As you inhale, come on up. And then we set up for that twist. So left hand just helps draw that left leg in. Knee is over the ankle or the ankle is slightly forward. You're about hip distance apart and either hugging here or again, you might hook your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. You're using that as a little leverage to press your shoulder heads back. Again, you're rooting into both sit bones, keeping those right toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then your inhale, finding lots of length through the sides of your waist. And exhaling, wrapping in, unwinding. How does this side feel? Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale and wind, come back to center. And then let's just allow this left knee to fall back off to the left. Bend that right knee back in. So let's take a forward fold here in our Baddha Konasana. I find this to be an incredibly challenging pose. So again, if it's hard for you to sit tall, if you find that you kind of slump in here, sitting up on something is going to help you to keep your spine nice and tall. And then we hinge forward any amount. So I can't go too terribly far before I start to feel a really intense stretch. Some of us can fold in. Do make sure you're keeping the sides of your waist nice and long. Send your exhale to the spots that are tight. For most of us, it's the groins here, but you could be feeling it the outer hips as well. A few more good breaths. As you inhale, you roll up, hands to the outside of your knees, extend legs to straight. Dandasana, we're taking this into forward fold here, Paschimottanasana. Strap around your feet works if you're tighter. Otherwise, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale again, spine stays long. So you kind of gauge that for how far you go. Once you start to round in, it means you need to back out a little bit. And then hands can just grab wherever feels good. It can be by the sides here. I could just reach out and tickle Laura's toes on my camera screen right now. My phone camera screen, whatever. You know what I mean. All right, so from here, nice and easy, start to roll on up and then on to your spine. And when you get here, knees into the chest again. So we started here. How does it feel different? Hopefully it's feeling a little easier. Hopefully there's a little more space in your body. From here, we make our way into our final resting pose, our Shavasana. So it can be nice to just move stuff out of the way so you're not touching anything or distracted. If there's tenderness in your lower back, you're going to keep your knees bent. They just knock in towards each other, arms by your side. Otherwise, classic Shavasana is fine as well. So just be where you need to be and really give yourself permission to soak up these final few quiet moments. Let your next inhale be deeper. Start to bring some movement back to your body. So wiggle fingers, toes, circle ankles, wrists, stretch out, anything that feels good. Staying soft and quiet, roll to one side or the other. Find the fetal position. And then from here, you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. So notice how you feel here. Notice what's shifted for you, how you're feeling differently. Send yourself love and gratitude for making the effort to show up and work hard, and just promise yourself that you're going to carry some of this good feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week and month ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart. Just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Great to see all of you. Thank you.